My phone rang at 11:42 p.m. Las Vegas area code. I already knew what this call was.
Marcus, please. We can talk about this when I get back. Don't do anything stupid. We can fix this.
I didn't raise my voice. I didn't curse.
There's nothing to fix, Nicole.
She went silent for almost 10 seconds.
Why would you send someone here? On my trip? What is wrong with you?
I let her finish. Then I told her the truth, the part she didn't want to hear.
I didn't ruin anything tonight. She ruined everything months ago. But let me take you back to the beginning. Beat. I was 38 when I met Nicole. Steady job, steady habits, steady life. She was 28, 10 years younger, full of fast weekends and loud friends, and the specific energy of someone who moves through life like it owes her something. When I first saw her, she had this spark, bright, a little wild, like her life was on fast forward and she had no intention of slowing down for anyone. But she slowed down for me. At least, that's what she said. She told me she was tired of the clubs, tired of the late nights, tired of meaningless connections. She wanted to start clean. She wanted something real. She wanted us to take things slow. No intimacy for a while. Build the foundation first. Do it right. Back then, I believed her. Looking back now, that was the first lie. That clean start lasted exactly 5 weeks. One evening she came over after work, dropped her bag on my counter, and crossed the room and kissed me like she'd been starving for days. Whatever promise she'd made about taking it slow evaporated in an instant. I didn't question it. I told myself she'd changed her mind because we were growing closer, because the connection was real, because she meant it. I believed what I wanted to believe. That night, in the quiet of my apartment, with Nicole finally asleep beside me, I told myself this was the beginning of something good. I had no idea it was the beginning of a very long deception. Preet. The real turn came when she introduced me to her daughter. Lily was 8 years old, bright, curious, tougher than she looked. First time I met her, she hid behind Nicole for about 2 minutes. Then she walked straight up to me and asked if I knew how to make pancakes. I didn't, but I told her I could learn. That was all it took. She attached herself to me like we'd known each other for years. Nicole would watch us from the kitchen with this soft smile, like she'd already decided I was the missing piece. As weeks became months, weekdays became routines. I drove Lily to school, helped her with science projects, took her to piano lessons every Thursday. Nicole started coming to church with us on Sundays. She barely touched alcohol. She stopped seeing her old party friends. She always said the same thing.
I want to be better. For us. For Lily.
For a long time, I believed she meant every word. When I proposed, Lily cried first. She hugged me so tight I almost lost my balance. Nicole said yes before I finished the question. We had a small wedding, moved into a rental house closer to Lily's school. I kept my condo and rented it out, a decision my divorce attorney would later call the smartest thing I ever did. For a good stretch, life was quiet, peaceful, no drama. But cracks always appear before a wall falls. And Nicole, slowly, quietly, began slipping back into the person she used to be. The first clear shift came on a Tuesday night, about 2 years into the marriage. She walked in later than usual, dropped her keys on the table, and let out a long, irritated sigh. Rough day?
I'm just tired of everything. Work, this town, the same routine every single week.
She paced the living room while Lily finished homework in her room.
I feel trapped, Marcus. I need a break. Not from you and Lily, just from responsibility. Something for myself.
I offered a family trip. Disney. A quiet weekend somewhere. She shook her head before I finished.
No, that's not what I mean. I want a girls' trip. Las Vegas. Me, Amber, and the others. Shows, sun, drinks. Nothing serious.
Something shifted in my chest. Not panic, instinct.
Years earlier, I'd been on a bachelor trip and watched married women cheat like it was a sport. Faces, drinks, hands where they didn't belong. That memory didn't come from paranoia. It came from experience.
I kept my voice even. When is this trip?
Next month. She said it quickly, like she'd rehearsed it. We already booked the hotel. I was waiting to tell you.
There it was. The second lie. I didn't press her.
Didn't argue. Didn't forbid her from going. That never stops someone who's already made up their mind.
If that's what you want, I said, go ahead.
She relaxed instantly, almost too quickly. She walked over, kissed my cheek, and said,
I promise you, Marcus, it's completely harmless. I'll share my location the whole time if it makes you feel better.
It didn't.
But I smiled anyway.
Because the moment she said that,
I already knew exactly what I needed to do next.
in the weeks leading up to the Las Vegas trip, Nicole changed in ways that weren't loud, but they were obvious, if you knew what to look for. She started dressing up for work meetings she never mentioned before. New clothes appeared, tags still on, stored in the car trunk instead of brought inside. Her phone, once left casually on kitchen counters and nightstands, never left her hand. One night she said she had to stay late for payroll issues. Her job didn't process payroll on Tuesdays. First real flag.
I stayed calm, observing, collecting. People reveal more when you're quiet. The real break came on a Thursday night. Nicole had fallen asleep on the couch, phone resting on her chest. A notification buzzed. She flinched half awake, pressed the side button, drifted back off. What she didn't realize was that Lily had been using the shared tablet in my office earlier that week and had accidentally changed the sync settings. Nicole's messages were mirroring to the tablet in real time. When I walked in to shut it down for the night, I saw her name at the top of the screen. I stood there and read everything. Explicit messages to a contact saved as Derek. Hotel confirmations across 2 separate weeks, screenshots she'd sent him, outfits she'd never worn around me, conversations where she told him she felt alive with him, messages about quick meetups while Lily was at school and I was at work.
It wasn't one mistake. It wasn't confusion.
It was a routine, planned, repeated, maintained. I didn't slam anything. Didn't wake her up. Didn't touch my phone. I sat down at the desk, opened a hidden folder, and spent the next 40 minutes saving screenshots. Dates, timestamps, photos, hotel confirmations, everything. Then I powered the tablet off, walked back to the living room, and stood there looking at her sleeping peacefully on the couch. She had no idea I knew. And that was exactly how I wanted it.
Free creature.
The next morning, I went through my routine like nothing had changed. Made coffee, packed Lily's lunch, kissed Nicole on the forehead before heading out. She smiled up at me, soft, warm, familiar. The same smile she'd been giving me for 4 years.
It almost deserved an award.
On my lunch break, I drove to the office of Daniel Cole, a divorce attorney a coworker had recommended. Daniel was in his 50s, sharp, calm, the kind of man who could sit through a hurricane without flinching. After I walked him through everything and showed him the screenshots, he leaned back in his chair, hands folded. "You've already done the hard part," he said. "What you need now is structure and patience." We went through everything. My condo was premarital property, fully protected. Her income was stable enough that alimony was off the table. Lily was not my biological child, which meant no legal tie, though Daniel noted the emotional complexity. The infidelity evidence was thorough. "If you want out clean," Daniel said, tapping the folder, "you have it." I already knew I wanted out. The only question was, how? Daniel started walking me through the process, filings, timelines, service requirements, when something clicked.
Her Las Vegas trip.
Can she be served while she's traveling? I asked.
Daniel nodded.
Anywhere, as long as the person serving is authorized.
That's when Kevin came to mind. Kevin and I had gone to college together. He lived in Las Vegas now. Real estate, good instincts, loyal in the way that only old friends are. Discreet. The kind of person who asks 2 questions and then just handles it. I called him right after leaving Daniel's office.
Kevin, you busy on the 18th?
What's up? I need someone served.
Who?
My wife. A pause.
You're serious.
More than serious. He exhaled slowly.
Text me the details. I'll handle it.
Free creature. At home, Nicole was lighter than she'd been in months. She talked about outfits, show reservations, spa bookings. She kissed me more than usual, casual, affectionate, the performance of a woman who believed she was managing everything perfectly. 2 nights before she left, she sat beside me on the couch and said,
I'll share my location the whole time. I don't want you worrying.
She reached over and took my hand.
I love you, Marcus. This is just what I need right now. A few days to breathe. Then I come back and we're better, okay?
I looked at her, held her hand. Okay, I said. She smiled, kissed my cheek, got up to finish packing. I watched her go and thought about Kevin waiting in Las Vegas. I slept fine that night.
Mita.
She left on a Friday morning, suitcase rolling behind her, sunglasses already on, already halfway somewhere else. I watched from the doorway. She waved once before getting in the car. I closed the door. Checked my phone. Her location was already shared, a little blue dot moving toward the airport, right on schedule. Her plane landed at 2 p.m. By 3, she posted a photo, her feet near a pool. The caption, "Reset weekend," with a sun emoji. She wanted that image. Simple, harmless, innocent. A woman on a well-deserved vacation. Nothing to see here. But an image is only a picture. Reality was coming from a different angle. At 9 p.m., Kevin called. I'm in position. She's here. What's she wearing? Blue dress, hair down, drink in her hand. Is she alone? Not even close. A pause. She's been touching this guy's arm for the last 20 minutes. He looks about 30. They're not strangers, Marcus. I didn't say anything. I didn't need to. Ready? Kevin asked. Yes. I heard the background noise shift, music muffling slightly, voices getting closer. He must have moved directly toward her table. Then I heard her laugh. That specific laugh. Bright, a little performative, the one she used when she wanted someone to notice her. It cut right through me. Then Kevin's voice, calm and even. Nicole Reed. A beat.
Do I know you?
No, but your husband does. He asked me to give you this. The sound of something placed on a surface. Then footsteps walking away. Kevin's voice returned, quieter now. It's done. I thanked him and hung up. 30 seconds later, my phone lit up. Nicole. Calling. She didn't stop. Call after call. Then texts, short, panicked, getting more desperate with each one. I let it all come in, read every message, watched the notifications stack up on my screen. Then I answered. Her voice cracked the moment she heard me pick up.
Marcus, what did you do? Why would you do this here, on my trip, in front of everyone?
Nicole?
Please, just listen to me. Whatever you think you know, it's not like that. I can explain everything. Just don't do anything else until I get home. We can talk. We can go to counseling. Marcus, we're married. People make mistakes.
You're right. People make mistakes.
Then you understand.
A mistake is once. What you did was a schedule. Silence.
Please, don't throw our family away. I'll quit my job. I'll cut off everyone. I will do whatever you need. Just don't end this.
Nicole, you ended this. I'm just closing the door you opened.
She went quiet again. I could hear her breathing, uneven, controlled, the sound of someone trying not to fall apart in a public place. Then, quieter.
Derek doesn't matter. He meant nothing to me. I swear to you, it was nothing.
I hung up before she finished the sentence. That was the last time I spoke to her that night. She came home the next afternoon, a day early. The woman who walked through the door looked nothing like the one who had left. Makeup smudged, hair undone, eyes swollen and raw. She dropped her suitcase at the entrance and walked toward me slowly, like she expected an explosion. I was sitting at the kitchen table with coffee.
Marcus, she reached for my arm. Please, I'll do anything. Just tell me what you need.
I stood up and stepped back. There's nothing to tell you, Nicole. Daniel will be in touch.
She opened her mouth, closed it, looked at me like she was searching for something, anything that would change my expression. There was nothing. The divorce moved quickly after that. Daniel filed everything within the week. Nicole tried negotiating, then threatening, then crying in the hallway of the courthouse. Nothing moved me and nothing moved the judge. My condo was premarital property, clean, documented, not up for discussion. She walked out of that courtroom with her clothes and a reputation she couldn't repair. The fallout came fast. Derek deleted their messages and blocked her number within days of the rooftop. Acted like he barely knew who she was. Her friends, the same ones who'd cheered on the Las Vegas trip, quietly stopped including her once the story got around. Her job moved her to a different team after office gossip made things uncomfortable. Her mother started pressuring her to move back home. About a month after the divorce finalized, Sandra, one of Nicole's former friends, stopped me outside a grocery store.
Marcus, there's something I think you should know.
She told me the truth about the so-called clean start. Before Nicole and I had ever gotten serious, she'd been seeing someone else and had needed weeks to sort out the fallout before she was ready. The careful, slow beginning she'd proposed, the no intimacy, build something real speech, wasn't about values. It was about timing.
She lied to you from the beginning,
Sandra said quietly. I know, I said, but it's over now.
Creeper.
I moved back into my condo 2 weeks after everything was finalized. The place felt smaller than the house we'd shared, but quieter in a way I hadn't felt in years. Silence wasn't uncomfortable anymore. It was just mine. I kept in touch with Lily through her grandmother. Birthdays, holidays, small things. I made sure she knew I still cared, even if I couldn't be in her life the way I once was. She didn't ask for explanations, and I didn't offer them. 3 months after the divorce, I saw Nicole at a supermarket. Sweatpants, hair tied back, a shopping basket in one hand. She looked like someone life had caught up with, not dramatically, just quietly diminished. She stepped into my path.
Marcus, can we talk?
Say what you need to say.
You didn't have to embarrass me like that, sending someone to serve me in Las Vegas, in front of everyone.
I turned toward her. You embarrassed yourself, Nicole. I just stopped covering for it. She opened her mouth, closed it again, looked down. There was no fight left. I walked away without anger, without satisfaction, without hate. Just clarity. The real ending hadn't been the rooftop bar. It hadn't been the envelope, or the phone call, or the courtroom. The real ending was the moment I chose to stay quiet, gather everything I needed, and let her believe she had won, right up until the moment she realized she had lost everything. And for the first time since the night I met Nicole, I felt exactly like myself again. That's where this story ends. Thank you for listening. If this one stayed with you, subscribe, leave a like, and turn on notifications. See you in the next one.